And now, more of my conversation with Donald Trump.
Now, our presidents, our country, who carry the Bible, and know this story very well, know the importance of this land and the gift of this land to this people, didn't support Israel very well. And Israel was attacked several times by these warring nations and then internally. And our presidents didn't do much to help them, didn't see it. They kept offering peace solutions that required Israel give up land. Now, Israel's a very small place. They don't have land. And the Arab nations surrounding them have nothing but land.
All Israeli-Arab peace talks have focused on creating borders within Israel where another Arab state can reside and have its own independent government. This is what drove both the Camp David Accords in 1978 and the Oslo Accords in 1993. However, in both cases, peace never materialized, and the assassinations of both Egyptian Prime Minister Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin were directly tied to these land for peace agreements. The Oslo Accords in particular had a devastating effect on Israeli-Palestinian relations, as the PLO used its newfound proximity to Israelis to commit some of the most heinous terrorist acts imaginable. First with suicide bombings on buses, and later with rockets launched from Gaza into highly populated civilian areas. The Trump administration recognized that the missing step toward peace was not a political one, but economic. They quickly began to investigate how the United States could help cement economic agreements between Israel and its surrounding Arab neighbors. Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, began the process of negotiation between Israel and the United Arab Emirates to build channels for direct investment and financial cooperation between the two countries. By mid-August of 2020, a deal had been reached. As news of this landmark agreement began to make its way through the Middle East, leaders from the country of Bahrain reached out to Kushner and his senior advisor, Avi Berkowitz, saying, "We want to be next."
We just finished a very exciting 2 days here in Bahrain where we had the Peace to Prosperity workshop. We had over 20 countries participate and 350 business leaders from throughout the world. This is a very important blueprint for the future of the Palestinian people and hopefully a step in the direction of making this a safer, more prosperous region with tremendous opportunity for all the people.
On September 15th, 2020, the leaders of the United States, Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain signed the Abraham Accords on the south lawn of the White House.
Abraham, as many of you know, was the father of all three great faiths. He's referred to as Abraham in the Christian faith, Ibrahim in the Muslim faith, and Avraham in the Jewish faith. And no person better symbolizes the potential for unity among all these three great faiths than Abraham, and that's why this accord has been given that name.
I wanted it to be called the Donald J. Trump Accord, but I didn't think the press would understand that, so I didn't do that.
This day is a pivot of history. It heralds a new dawn of peace.
I stand here today to extend a hand of peace and receive a hand of peace.
The declaration supporting peace between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Israel is an historic step on the road to genuine and lasting peace.
We are already discussing this with other nations, very powerful, very good nations, and people that want to see peace in the Middle East.
Shortly thereafter, Sudan, Morocco, Oman, and Jordan formally signed the accords as well, clearing a host of new economic ties in this region. The accords have pumped billions of dollars into the economies of all the countries involved.
And when I became president, and even before I became president, I spoke very favorably about Israel. Golan Heights, as an example.
The Golan Heights were yet another attempt by the Israelis to trade land for peace. The Israelis captured the Golan Heights from Syria during the Six-Day War in 1967. After a ceasefire had been called between Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, The Israeli Knesset was prepared to return the Golan Heights to the Syrians in exchange for peace. This offer was quickly rejected when Syria signed on to the Khartoum Resolution at the end of the 1967 Arab League summit. The resolution became known in Arab circles as the three no's. No peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, no negotiations with Israel. As such, both Israel and Syria continued to lay claim to the land. On December 14, 1981, Israel passed the Golan Heights Law, extending Israel's laws, jurisdiction, and administration to the Golan Heights. Israel's sovereignty over the land had not been recognized by any other country until the Trump administration changed the U.S. position to assert that the Golan Heights